So humans have lived in and with fear since the beginning of our existence as a programmed survival tactic.
As a guidance system response to sloppy thinking. As an emotional response to looking at what is that isn't wanted. And then believing in the importance of looking hard and long at it till you train your focus, your vibrational focus there.
So I guess I was wondering, is that where the struggle lies between positive and negative emotion when we are, again, sort of evolutionarily, genetically, DNA programmed to fear the saber tooth and the
fear didn't come in your DNA. It's not programmed there. It's picked up along this physical trail. And here's why. You're an extension of source energy that is a vibrational attitude. When you come into your physical body, you knew you would be exposed to wanted and unwanted because you're a creator. And you know, if you don't know what you don't want, you can't know what you do want. And so you're a leading edge creator wanting exposure for the purpose of you choosing. But where it gets off kilter for humans is that you get into this sometimes lifelong debate about the rightness and the wrongness of what people are choosing instead of the harmony or discord between your inner being who's always in that place of love. It's not DNA. You learned it from your mother. Yeah. And she learned it from her mother, who learned it, and not just the mothers, fathers too, but a lot of mothers.
Definitely. But is the yin-yang balance in the universe, and thus I would think that would include negative, positive emotion, essential?
Yeah, because without contrast, there can be no choosing. Let's fast forward into a moment in time like today, and let's say that you focus on something and you don't want it. It's something that you're complaining about, and you feel negative emotion while you complain about it. Well, some might surmise, as they listen to us talking about the upper half of the emotional scale and the lower half of the emotional scale and your emotional guidance system and positive and negative emotions, some might think that that means that whenever you feel negative emotion, you're off track. But that isn't accurate, because it's part of what our friend was helping us to realize. It's part of the process of choosing, and it's part of the process of creating. It is the reason for expansion and evolution. And so anytime you're feeling negative emotion, rather than beat up on yourself for feeling it, it would be so much more beneficial to acknowledge, well, my inner being feels differently. Where did that difference really start gaining momentum? And it isn't that what you saw happen didn't happen, you saw it. And it isn't that you don't want it to happen and that your inner being understands that either. In other words, you're on the same page with that. But where it gets wonky, where your inner being doesn't go with you and then you feel the separation, is when you make a bigger assumption like, well, I must not be worthy, or I must not be smart enough, or it must not be my time, or someone else has the ability to deprive me of something that I want, which your inner being knows isn't true. So if whenever you feel negative emotion, you stay focused upon it, asking that question, it won't be long before you'll be able to figure out where you diverged from what your inner being knows. You see, little kids seem to know that. Someone will be diminishing them, and they'll go, did you break that? Well, yeah, they did. But they can feel you now demonizing them for breaking it, and that's why they're going, this isn't a reason to not love me. Did you break that? But the question they're answering is the bigger question. Is this justification for you to not love me in this moment over that?
Didn't Wayne Dyer say there's a time to cry and a time to laugh? And so I guess what I'm hearing is it's okay to have that negative emotion. It's part of the process. It's how the universe rolls.
It's an important part. And here's the thing that is so interesting. Maybe even a word like ironic would fit in here. When you feel like that, it's because your inner being doesn't. Take that in for a minute. I'm using what happened to defend something that isn't.
So that's interesting, though, because our inner being never, ever experiences, feels, deals with negative emotion. But that's interesting because the universe is all about that negative, positive.
Well, there are vibrational differences in non-physical, just like there are here. But the range of non-physical variance is indiscernible from your human standpoint. You are correct. Everything has vibrational variance. You have to really get far from who you are before you have an emotional response to it. And so many humans just get used to it. Maybe in a fun way we could say, for your inner being, it's just good and gooder and gooder and gooder and gooder and gooder. And for a human, it's good and tragic. There has to be room for improvement in all that is. So you're starting to feel your reason for being. You said, I'll go into a leading edge environment. Now, why did you choose the leading edge environment? Was it all about service? Nope. Is it service? Absolutely. But was it all about that? You knew that, yes, there would be a more clear experience of variety, and that from it would be born improvement, preferences. You also knew the thrill of asking for something that is in a vibrational form where it cannot yet be seen or heard or smelled or tasted or touched. You knew the exhilarating satisfaction of being able to witness your creation come into full fruition. Those masters that paint on canvases have an idea in their mind, and then they turn it into something that others can see too. Sort of kind of like that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's amazing what you know about me. I'm an architect, so yeah, painter, canvas, architect, buildings. That helps me.
Really good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really good.